We are back, and Craig Armstrong has joined the desk. Some big news went down in Major League Baseball yesterday. The MLB trade deadline, of course, expired yesterday at 4 p.m. East Coast time. Right. And right as about 3:01 came about, teams started really picking up the phones, I guess, and hitting that trigger, making some big plays. So talk to me and let me know about some teams who you think were winners at the trade deadline.
Winners, definitely the Astros. The Astros pulling off the Zach Greinke trade is big. They did give up 4 really good prospects to get them, but I mean, if you win the World Series, it's all worth it. And plus, they got Arizona to take over 24 of the $77 million left on Zach Greinke's contract. They also got Aaron Sanchez, which is a really good relief pitcher. Martin Maldonado, really good backup catcher who actually ended the season last year with the Astros. And a couple of other players, a relief pitcher, outfielder, but they probably won't really see the field that much.
Okay.
But I would definitely say they are probably the biggest winner. I also have to go with the Braves. It's actually funny because literally the Braves played a game against the Nationals, blew the save in the 9th inning, had to come back and win in the 10th. Literally 30 minutes after the game, they acquired 2 relievers. The night before that, they acquired.
They saw your tweet.
Huh?
They saw your tweet.
They did.
You know what's funny though, and I'm sorry to bring up harsh memories, but the joy that you have when you talk about the Braves, y'all should have seen the joy when he just mentioned the Braves and the moves they made in free agency.
Listen,
it reminded me of the joy you had before Bama played Clemson. So I'm thinking that the Braves might bring that same.
Well, here's the difference. I knew we could lose to Clemson. Mm-hmm. Like I knew that. Like even when y'all called me after they got their ass bust, what was my attitude? It was like, well, shit, life come at you fast.
What about these Braves?
Well, the Braves, I mean, listen, we had the worst bullpen in terms of walks.
I agree.
This season.
That's facts. That's
Lord, what is
Luke Jackson.
Listen, Luke Jackson, and I'm pretty sure y'all have seen my tweets. It's all roller coasters whenever he comes in the game, and I'm
that boy is god awful.
I mean, if I never see Luke Jackson in the Braves uniform again.
Is it the same situation? You gonna help him pack too or not?
Yes. I don't even need a U-Haul for that. I will pack him up and put him in my car and drive him wherever.
Hey, so he's in a Ricardo Alfred boat and Trufant.
He's actually worse.
Oh man.
Yeah. Like Luke Jackson, he's actually worse. Like when he comes in the game, I have zero faith. Like somebody said on Twitter the other day, it was like Luke Jackson is the only closer I know where every single time you come in the game to close the game, the winning run always comes to the plate. Like it never fails.
Who else was some winners to you out there? Do you think the Giants were smart keeping?
No.
Nope.
Just because you have
Madison Bumgarner.
Right, Madison Bumgarner, Will Smith, your best starting pitcher and your best closer. At this point, you may get the wild card. You might, but it's like Madison Bumgarner is probably going to leave. Will Smith is probably your best asset outside of Madison Bumgarner. So right now, you have a chance to either go ahead and get some really good prospects or to stay pat and hope that you can overcome Washington and Philadelphia for the wild card, which is maybe not kind of deal. So just think about it. If you're San Francisco, if you don't get into the wild card, you just held on to 2 of your biggest assets for nothing.
And one's going to walk.
Yeah, one's going to walk, and you know that. So it's like that doesn't make much sense. That's like if the Pacers with Paul George.
What if he stays, though? What if he does just sell? Like, what if
I don't think he'll stay.
If
he was going to stay, I think they would have already signed him to an extension by now.
What's Buster Posey doing? Because they ain't heard his name in forever.
Buster Posey is being the reliable, good-hitting catcher that we've known him to be. Another winner, possibly, if it all works out, is the Phillies.
Don't give them no wins.
Let me ask you this: outside of your winners, we have a few winners and whatnot. With the trades, of course, shaping out and whatnot. Give me a few teams that you think now are honestly poised to make a run at the World Series.
I would say, even with their lack of moves, I'll say the Dodgers.
Okay.
They're the class of the NL right now. They didn't make many moves. They got Jericho as a right-handed bat off the bench, which is pretty good. The Braves, I would say those two are probably your top two teams in the NL.
Okay.
In the AL,
give me a sleeper team too. I know you mentioned
sleeper
the
team. I say
still fighting, the Nats and the Phillies still fighting.
If the Cubs could ever hit with runners on base, I would say the Cubs. Okay. Because right now they're struggling.
They leave a lot of points. Yeah, they leave a lot of runs on the field.
They leave a lot of runners on base.
Okay. What about in the AL?
In the AL, the Yankees have a really good roster, so you always have to worry about them. If they can just get their starting rotation to get it together, they could be good.
We just had a stank month. It's all just a stank month. Just a stank month.
I mean, their starting rotation, their ERA has climbed every month throughout the season. So if they can even get it to go down, they can be all right. Another team in the AL, it's kind of tough just because it's a lot of parity in the American League. But if I had to pick a team, maybe the Indians can make some noise. Okay. They did just trade for Yasiel Puig.
And they got the pitcher out of here.
They got Trevor Bauer out of here. He was out of here faster than that ball he threw over center field.
And did you see that he still came to the game?
That boy came to the game like a crazy ass girlfriend.
Listen, man, listen.
Came as a fan the next day.
Trevor Bauer, he's got to get his life together. He did say he wants to be a better player and a better person as he goes to Cincinnati, which I don't really care about because Cincinnati's not going to make the playoffs, so it doesn't matter.
So they'll let you know something going on off the field.
Yeah, he just tripping. That's all that is.
And the Indians and who else? What's your second team outside of the Indians?
The Astros.
Astros. Big moves. Okay.
Man, listen. The Astros just made moves that when you go to the playoffs and you play the Astros, you got Zach Greinke, Justin Verlander, and Garrett Cole. You got to go up against them three first. And it's a dub for you, and I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care what your offense is doing. I don't care who you are. You got to face them three. It's going to be rough for you. Like, you'll be lucky to get 1 out of 3.
Unless you're the Yankees.
Well, the Yankees will probably give up 12 runs that game because their starting pitching is trash.
Well, it'll be very interesting. Of course, is getting down. September's right around the corner. It's August 1st, so September is right around the corner.
The call-ups.
And then we'll be getting to October baseball when it really, really matters, and it gets to be a little colder and the leaves start to change color. So we'll keep you, ladies and gentlemen, up to date and abrupt to what's going on in Major League Baseball. But football is officially back, as we mentioned moments ago. Football is officially back. Your team is actually on TV right now. The Atlanta Falcons are taking on the Denver Broncos in Canton in the NFL's Hall of Fame game. Falcons are losing, as Brandon mentioned. What are your thoughts on what your Falcons look like so far in training camp? Of course, one of their first-round picks will miss up 6 to 8 weeks because he'll be having small, minor heart procedure done. But what are your thoughts on what you're seeing and hearing about the Atlanta Falcons so far?
The lineman?
The right tackle.
Oh, the one that you going crazy
was
over?
upset about. Yes.
No,
but, I mean, he's had that procedure 2 times prior. Mm-hmm. So it's something he's
used to.
He's been going through that for his life, basically. But I think the Falcons, what I want to see is continuity on the offensive line. I want to be able to see that you can protect your quarterback. You can make open lanes for your running backs to run through. I'm not worried pretty much about the preseason. I mean, Matt Ryan probably will play here and there. Julio's not going to play at all. Calvin Ridley will probably get a lot of time. You know, honestly, you'll see a lot of rookies and a lot of young players playing. I think the Falcons are treating this in a situation where you have a lot of veterans who don't really need the preseason as much. Like I said, you want to get the continuity on offensive line, but that's really about it. You don't have a lot of young players in important situations that need a lot of time.
Of course, they're taking on Denver Broncos, new coach for Denver.
Absolutely.
Denver's had a stout defense for some years. We know that what they do on defense. They've also added some veteran cornerbacks as well. Joe Flacco is their quarterback as well now this season.
Didn't start tonight either.
Of course, they picked up a quarterback in the draft as well, Drew Lock. Flacco let it be known he's not there to mentor or coach Flock.
As he shouldn't.
It's early, and just what are your thoughts on what Joe Flacco and the Denver Broncos can do in a very tough division?
Well, Joe Flacco, he's going to be a quarterback that's going to be kind of like a bridge quarterback, because even when he was in Baltimore without a stout defense, without a good running game, he wouldn't be who he is today, in my opinion. He had
a strong run in the postseason. He had a strong run.
Postseason, he Joe Montana.
He had a little run. He put the ball in the air.
He did. But am I going to rely on one run?
I dig it. I respect that.
Wait.
I respect that.
To be honest, Joe Flacco might have made to the Super Bowl twice if it weren't for Lee Evans dropping the ball in the end zone, gets the pages.
We dig all that. But he got there.
Cool story, bro. But all I know is
23.
All I know is Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock in Missouri. I think his last season at Missouri was the whole team was pretty much riddled with injuries. So you really can't. He didn't really get a good look at him. But the years prior to that, he was pretty good. So I'll give him that. I think if he buys in and learns the offense, he can actually be pretty good. I do believe that. They do need to get him some more weapons, because just getting Noah Fant out of Iowa that's not gonna work. Like
Philip Lindsay, all right. Philip Lindsay, all right. Running back from last year.
Yeah. You got Philip Lindsay at running back, Noah Fant at tight end, but you do need some wideouts.
Because Emmanuel Sanders is getting up there.
Yeah, Sutton's cool, but you need a number one. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders coming off an Achilles tear, we'll see what he can bring back to the table. Demaryius Thomas, he's gone, so it's it's not the same,
I dig it.
Stable of weapons.
So before we close out this segment, with your Falcons playing, of course, there's a lot of Super Bowl aspirations here in the city of Atlanta.
Right.
They do have some veterans that they've assured on the defensive side of the ball, paying them. We know Julio will get his money soon. Matt Ryan the Falcons have been there before. We know what happened before, but they've been to the Super Bowl, so they know the road that it takes to get to the Super Bowl. Dan Quinn is under a lot of pressure himself,
as he should be.
But what about Matt Ryan? How much pressure is Matt Ryan under this upcoming season?
Well, with Matt, he should be under a lot of pressure, because they just invested a lot in protecting you. You know what I mean? So you've got Sanu. We've spent a first-round pick on Calvin Ridley. We're about to lock up Julio. You got Austin Hooper. We just spent 2 first-round picks on the offensive line. We also went out of free agency and signed 2 players for the offensive line. We traded to get Alex Mack a couple years ago. We spent a first-round pick on Jake Matthews. So now you've got what you need on offense. So if you come out and the offense is an issue, we already know what's going on. You know what I mean? Because Dirk Cutter's been here before, and Dirk Cutter has been a head coach. Dirk Cutter has been an OC for 2 different teams. Dirk Cutter he's shown that he can have a relevant offense. So if we come out and struggle on offense, we know it's because you can't get the ball to the playmakers that we've provided you. Now, last year the defense had a lot of injuries, so that of course that didn't help. But this year, I'm expecting y'all to go to the playoffs, and if you go to the playoffs, I'm expecting results this year. We gave you a big contract. If we come in and you don't perform, I'm gonna need some of that money back. Like straight up. Like I'm gonna need you to restructure that contract and give some of that money back so we can go and get some more people to help you, I guess.
Realistically, what do you see the Falcons' record being at the end of this regular season, and will they make the postseason?
Without looking at the complete schedule, I say we should win at least 10 games.
Okay.
At least 10, maybe 11 if things fall right. I expect the Saints to be really the only team that we should even struggle with. I'm not going to say struggle. It should be a competition
in the division.
In the division.
Okay.
The Saints should be the only team in the division that maybe we split with. Okay. We should beat the Panthers twice. We should beat Tampa Bay twice. The Eagles game, we already know.
Mm-hmm. I expect, be a pivotal game.
Yeah, and I expect them to beat the Eagles.
Sunday night game.
Yeah, and I'm looking for them to win that game.
Okay. I ain't as you should. I'm not mad at that.
Hey, look, like I said, we invested a lot. Mm-hmm. We should win that game.
We coming down 85 to win though. I'm just letting you know.
Look, y'all coming down 85. I hope y'all got somebody to cover Julio. That's all I can say.
We coming.
What y'all had last year wasn't gonna work.
Oh, you must not have heard. Sidney Jones is looking amazing out there in camp, baby. I was going at y'all in some shit. They've been talking about Sidney and Rasul. I'm not quite sure how sold I am on Rasul Douglas, but they've been saying Sidney's looking really good in training. It's training camp and whatnot.
You talking about slow Sidney?
No, Sidney that's finally probably healthy because it takes a year to get off
an Achilles. Yeah.
This year will show me a lot about.
We'll see.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna get too caught with my Eagles. We're gonna talk about your Falcons.
Exactly.
But that game will be very pivotal.
See.
It may determine a lot further down the road.
Y'all will see. We'll do our usual and probably bet on the game. But
for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm expecting the Falcons to win the division. Okay. I'm expecting them to win at least 10 games, and I'm expecting to be back in the playoffs this year. Straight up.
Well, I see there's gonna be a lot of sad faces this season.
We shall see. We shall see
because if y'all don't beat the Browns this year, the Browns.
We'll talk about that momentarily. We're gonna take a brief break and then we'll be joined back here at the desk by Brandon and talk Michael Thomas, talk about his new deal, talk about our top 5 receivers in the league, talk about the release of Madden 20 and what it'll bring, and we'll wrap up today's show.
True enough.